actually just reviewing what you did back in Algebra 2. And some of you have already explained to me what I do with that -3. You said, hey, I'm going to take that -3, I'm going to multiply it by everything inside here. Does anybody remember the name that we gave that -3? It wasn't a coefficient, but that was a good guess. That was a very good guess. Mr. Conto will be watching this later, buddy. Be careful. Scalar. Scalar. So a scalar is a number that gets multiplied in, right? So let's go ahead and multiply this in. -3 times 4 is -12. -3 times -1 is 3. -3 times 0, -3 times 4 again, -3 times -3, and -3 times 8. All right. How many of you had that for the first one? Good. Now, what are we going to do with B? Multiply it by 2, so 0, 8, -2, 6, 2, and 14. What am I going to do with them now? Add them. Why am I allowed to add them? They are the same size. What's the size of this one? 3 by 2. Good. Remember, it's the number of rows by the number of columns. Okay, so they're both 3 by 2, so we'll add them together. -12, 11, -2, -6, 11, and -10. Raise your hand if you have that. Excellent. You get to write not possible. So if they're not the same size, you cannot add. Right? Does that make sense to everybody? So we all remember adding and subtracting matrices, right? We remember multiplying by a scalar. And if you had it last year, then you remember probably how to multiply a matrix only using the graphing calculator. Now, if you had me 2 years ago, we actually did do it by hand, and then we used the graphing calculator. But now, we're all going to do it by hand. So we are going to multiply these two together. So go ahead and copy down A and B first. So we actually have two problems here. We have A times B and we have B times A. So the first one we're going to do is A times B. Well, before I can actually do A times B, I have to write down the dimensions. So what are the dimensions of A? 3 by 2. And what are the dimensions of B? 2 by 2. I actually love square matrices, because if I ever accidentally mix up rows and columns, I'm always going to be right. 3 by 3. You didn't know if I messed that up or not, right? Okay. If the middle two numbers are the same, you can multiply them. So this says, yes, we can multiply them. And if you say yes, the outside numbers tell us the new dimension. So I'm going to make a brand new matrix that's a 3 by 2. And I'm going to give myself some room in that 3 by 2. 3 rows, 2 columns, right? You got it, the new dimension. What if the middle two are not the same? What do you get to write? Exactly, you get to write not possible. All right. Officially, we're going to multiply two matrices together by hand. Okay? And here's how we do it. We take the first row of the first matrix and we're going to multiply it by the first column of the second matrix. So we're going to write down our work right here on the first spot. This is the first row of this matrix and the first column, right? That's the first row and first column. So what is negative 1 times 1? Plus, what is 4 times 0? 0. So far, okay? I like to follow a pattern. So I'm just going to go down to the next one down. Does that make sense? So what is 2 times 1? What is 0 times 0? So now go down and fill in the bottom one for me. So you should have 1 plus 0. Is that correct? Okay. So now, what we're going to do is I'm going to erase this highlighter right here. And I'm going to highlight this column. Because I need to fill in this column, right? So we'll start at the top with that row. Negative 1 times negative 2 is 2. 4 times 7 is 28. Everybody see how I came up with those numbers? Okay, keep going. Fill in the last 2 spots for me. I multiplied these 2 and these 2. That makes sense? All right. Justin, can you read me what you have in this row? Yes. Yep. Pick somebody. Carter, can you read me what you have in this one? Good. And then the only thing to do now is to make another matrix that's your answer matrix. So negative 1 plus 0 is negative 1. 2 and 28 is 30. 2, negative 4, 1, and 12. Don't be afraid to make your work matrix big. So you can read it, so you can see it. Because if you try to make it tiny, I've seen it where people go the whole way across and they wanted a space in the middle and they forget that space. So go ahead and make it big. So there's my answer. Any questions?
I'm confused on how the one in the third column you're gonna multiply it by the second row. Up there it's gonna be negative 1 times 1. Why shouldn't it be negative 1 times 0?
Because these pieces match up. See how this piece, and then if I go, see how that works?
Yeah.
So each piece is kind of matching up with each other. All right, how about B times A? Let's do that one. B times A. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and write it down here. B times A. You should always write your dimensions first. That will help you a lot. So the dimensions of B are a 2 by 2, and the dimensions of A are a 3 by 2. And what do you get to write? Not possible. And you're done. Any questions? Feel pretty good? Okay. At this time, let's go and give you the essential work. Here's the thing. I could make you do another practice problem with me, or I could just give you the essential work and make sure you're doing the practice problems right. I thought that would be a better idea. Okay? So, essential work is right here.